briefly as we got people coming in. I was just saying to other people coming in, we're going to go through it briefly here. There's not much out on the bone today. Obviously, most of you have done your homework and you should do your calendar. You know, those of you who knew, you go through your calendar basically on a Friday or weekend, basically tells you when not to trade and when to trade as such. And obviously, today, all of you who don't know, Martin Luther King Day, the US market is basically shut. The Globus is open, but most people will take a day off. I was just saying to both Jake and Hinesh early that Wednesday, I think, could also be a very quiet day, obviously, because Biden's been inaugurated as the 46th president of the United States. Yeah. So, yeah, yet again, we got 9 minutes. Those of you who don't know, we're going to quickly go if we've got time, because there's a few interests onto the calendar. So if I whack it in here, let's share screen. And those of you who've done your calendar, I do apologise. However, the interesting thing with your calendar, yeah, is to work out what is important and what isn't important. And if few of us starting to not understand really, obviously we'll go through Monday here, Martin Luther King Day, you write that down, go through it, you realise the market's very quiet, yeah. China at 2 o'clock, those figures that came out were fairly okay, yeah. But we don't really worry that because most are asleep, yeah. I think only Mr. Ruddy's awake for those things. Again, anything in yellow is fairly important. Anything in red is very important. Monday, I think most people have only got in 9 o'clock Italian CPI. That won't do much to the market anyway. Obviously, you've got the Canadian things in there and everything else. And I think a few people have said that Mr. Bailey's talking this evening. That he's talking, but he's only talking about climate change. So I don't think that's going to trade much in the markets. Let's go forward to Tuesday. It's very thin again. Tuesday, what I've got written down here, I'm checking my screen. The European Financial Council meeting, they're meeting all week. We come down to 7 o'clock. We've got the CPI. Those of you know the CPI, it's inflation. What is inflation currently in Germany? Everything else, probably zero. Not very much. I can't see it moving the market very much. 7 o'clock, labour productivity. That won't move the market. So what we're doing here when we do the calendar, we should work out month by month when it's busy and when it's not. And your trading journal will tell you when you go back and say, well, what happened last month? There we go. Big thing of the day. Zoo economic sentiment at 10:05. It's normally at 10 o'clock. I don't know why they put 10:05 down there and the situation there. That may move the market. So that's my highlight for Tuesday morning. We go through in the afternoon. Not much in the afternoon. The one thing in the afternoon that's not on there, and you still know, Janet Yellen, who was the ex-Fed chairman, she gets appointed as the Treasury Secretary. Yeah. We go back to 8 o'clock. Hill Dane's fairly important. People in because I think he's number 2 or 3 in the Bank of England, but then he won't say much. Yeah. So we get again Wednesday's fairly quiet. We have the UK figures here. PPI again. PPI, producer price index, and the CPI. That's inflationary. And currently, we have no inflation, so I don't think that will move the markets. The same thing here. When we look at the UK figures here at 7 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow, those are figures, but probably 2 warrant a look. Yeah, we come down again. Not much on a Wednesday. We do our homework here. CPIs, anything else core? Not much. Yeah, unless you do the dollar CAD. He's talking at 4 o'clock, and Bailey's talking at 5 o'clock. Yeah, nothing there. Thursday's our big day, massive day, and obviously Biden gets elected Wednesday. I forgot to say that. There, the reason why we have a Thursday with the Bank of Japan interest rate decision, and obviously those of you who've done your homework, it's the ECB. That's the big news of the day. 12:45, the interest rate decision. You should know what the deposit rate is, minus 0.5, and everything else. Also, Lagarde spoke last week. Those of you who don't know what she spoke about, yeah, should do your homework. Yeah, she spoke about, very importantly, those who can't remember, digital currencies. Yeah, she mentioned it twice. Remember, she speaks every 6 weeks. Yeah, so let's go. Where are we? Back here. Right. So I've got the FTSE coming in. We don't think very much today on the FTSE. Let's put the market profile on. I went slightly short this morning. only on the DAX. And this morning, I'm going to watch the DAX this morning. Let's get the right date up. I was looking at Friday, the news going on, only because the DAX has moved slightly more. And today, really, in reality, with OP, is that we don't expect much news to come out. Yeah, there was 2 or 3 things that come out. So there is a day someone said to me, would it be okay if I don't trade? And I think in theory that's a very good trade today, maybe not, but on the news. On the news overnight, we've had all the vaccines in the UK, and some of the over 70s are now going to be inoculated. And that's probably why the FTSE's held up more than the DAX and the Eurostoxx and Wall Street. DAX and Eurostoxx are off 0.5%, FTSE's only off 0.19. The argument you've got to come in, and obviously listen to the Sky and the news from James Fay sent it out that Biden may be wanting to tax. If he wants to bring up 1.9 trillion in the corona aid, yeah, but also rumours he's going to bring out a 2 trillion tax rise. That to me is not good for Wall Street. However, he hasn't said it yet, so basically wait for the rumour to come out. But in the theory, that's probably why Wall Street's slightly off. And obviously, those of us who are watching Sky, there seems to be about 58,000 million soldiers in Washington. So that's going to be interesting on a Wednesday. And I think I'm going to enjoy that because I'm so fed up with watching Netflix and the news. I want to see some real violence. And we'll see it at Capitol Hill. So anyway, so the same thing going today. If the market is quiet this morning, this afternoon's going to be absolutely dead. Yeah. So those of you who traded Friday, and it was mental. I mean, it came down 200-300 ticks and then rallied 200-300 ticks. And Wall Street was moving 50 ticks every 30 seconds or so. That was weird. Yeah. I don't think we'll see that this morning, or we haven't seen it yet. But yet again, we wait and see for the price action. And since I've been here the last hour, the FTSE's been up and down probably, 20 ticks. So we don't expect it. So again, I was looking back to the FTSE, and I remember Imran likes this. A good chart to look at is January the 6th, because the FTSE's come all the way back to that massive rally of 250 points on the 6th of Jan. So therefore, when we're looking for support here in the FTSE, whatever, let's whack the FTSE up here and see what we can see. Let's put it on a 4-hour chart. You know, there's not really much in the bone. And this is a massive day, as I said to Imran. You know, let's get it right. On that 6th of January, we had that massive move, yeah, all the way up in less than 2 hours from a 6615 all the way up to what was it, 68.5, yeah. And since then, we've slowly come all the way back down. So in theory, when we look at the chart, there's not much on the chart really for this huge green candle here till we come back down here. So I was going through it this morning. Someone said to me, "What do you think on the FTSE?" I went, "Well, on that massive rally on the 6th of January, there was no support line really, and hence that's why it rallied so much, because I think there was no resistance in the first place. So if it rallies up that fast, when we come down the other way, we could come down as fast. Yeah, I know that sounds quite bearish. However, I'm currently have not a lot of interest in trading. So I'm gonna go for the DAX this morning. I think we're very quiet. I also think I probably won't trade on the opening. I was short DAX, I've taken my money as such. And the only reason I'm going to look at the DAX here is because it's going to be more volatile than the FTSE. And that comes in itself, that people are asking me, well, how big's your stop in the FTSE? How big's your stop in the DAX? How big's your stop in the Eurostoxx? Yeah, obviously the Eurostoxx is a lot less. What we're going to do as our trial today, I said I was going to do it last week and I forgot to do it. We're going to go into the indices and we're going to buy, we put it on this demo, we're going to buy £1 unit, there we go, come on, of DAX, place deal, yeah, and at the same time, where's the Eurostoxx down here? We're going to sell 5 Eurostoxx, yeah, yeah. The reason I said this is that when people trade spreads, and loads of people trade spreads, there is actually a spread between the FTSE and the DAX, the FTSE and Wall Street, but there's a bigger correlation as such between the German Bund, yeah, and the Eurostocks. Obviously, most of them are cars made in Germany that make the Eurostock thing. So a lot of people turn around and say, why do you put us on Eurostock in the first trade? You can trade bigger size, but in relation, we're going to look at that over the next week. I'm not going to take the pictures this off and see what the difference is on Friday. So a whole week, we're going to see what that Eurostock DAX spread does. And in theory, the spread's 4.8. So I should have done 48 Eurostocks to 10 DAX. But then again, you need a huge margin call for that. Yeah. So let's do 5 to 1 is less. So yet again, we're going to look at the opening here on the DAX. Maybe not see very much. We've got in here no real reaction. I don't think anyone's traded. Yeah. Let's go to see the FTSE. And there is a huge reason not to trade today. Yeah. FTSE from 8 o'clock. Nothing much here. And the same thing, you don't want to get sucked into a trade today. There's nothing worse than a day trader. We've just done the calendar. We're looking at Wednesday, Thursday. Could be busy. Thursday's going to be very busy. If you have a bad day Monday, yeah, whatever it is, yeah, you start Tuesday fresh. Yeah, so you're working a 4-day week. We think Wednesday's going to be quiet. So really, we want to manage our money better. Yeah. So I think money should be quiet. All we're seeing here on the FTSE, we're seeing a buy up here. I think at 7:30 we're up here anyway. So in theory, those of us who are, let's put the FTSE up here on the market profile. And when it's quiet, I was saying last week, the market profile was working really well because there's nothing really to go on. So we've got the FTSE here, we're at 1920, POC 24. Now we can see the reason why there, isn't it? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 support resistance here. So in theory, you would expect, if you're trading, put your order in to sell 24s. Get your sim there, very simple. £2 a point, price level, what did we say? 6, 7, 24. Stop. It's a 10-tick stop. Bang. Place order. Yeah, it's working now, selling 24. So I'm using, I think it's going to be quiet. I've got my stop in. I'm using the market profile, yeah. I don't think there's any news. There's no news out. Anything's out at 9 o'clock. Challenge CPI. Go back to all the indices. DAX as well is somewhat. FTSE's come off. Yeah. So we're not expecting lockdown. So that'll be my trade. Maybe I should have done a 5-tick stop because I think the FTSE. No, in theory now, you could ask yourself now, how many? What do you think the range will be in the FTSE today? With the news and everything else, I think we'll probably be lucky to see 40 ticks. So therefore, in a way, my stop's too big. Here we go. FTSE ever traded here. 24. That's traded. Yeah. So in a way, trying to take 20 ticks in a FTSE when you think it's going to be a 40, 50 tick range maximum is a big trade to take. Yeah. So again, yeah, not much meat on the bone. We'll do the ECB Zoom as well. What we will get this week is hopefully a trader to talk about the more technical. Zane's going to come and do a morning. Those who remember before, Zane Carr's our technical man and does our level 5 course. So he's going to come and do some technicals. But if it's going to be quiet this week, what we're going to do is get one of you to do the opening Zoom sessions. Painful as it will be. Yeah. What's this space? I mean, because it should be fairly quiet, we'll probably try and do 5-10 minutes, as we said before, between 8:55 and 8:04. Unless there's any news coming out, and as we've seen here, there's been a fairly decent buy in the indices. Yeah, yeah. You see, so from the 8 o'clock, I don't know if anyone went long or anything, but we've had like almost a 20-tick rally. Yeah.
I went long on Euro stocks, but timing was just a little bit out, and I was scalping, so I stopped out for £8 loss.
Well, yeah. But in theory, what we've seen here is that there is a bar in the camp, yeah, and 2023, and because it's so thin, yeah, anyone who wants to come in the market, we can see this move. You know, we're thinking now we've gone through 24. My stop is I'm going to be stopped out. Yeah. What's that? 5 minutes.
I bought DAX at 803. Neil got 16 points.
Sorry, John.
I bought DAX at 803, got 16 points.
Do you think, in theory, on what did you do as a scalp?
Did it on the scalp, yeah.
Do you think you could have made more money?
Maybe,
I know hindsight's a massive thing.
Yeah.
But I said one of those things we were teaching the other day that I know you're aware of it. If we try and do multiples rather than just do one, you know, and you press it so we have 2 trades on, it allows you, like you said, you take your 16 ticks, allows you to move to stop, and therefore you're therefore in for another 20 ticks.
Yeah, could have got a bit more out of it.
I mean, it's a hard thing on Monday when things are very quiet. You know, we said we don't want to risk too much money off the table. But obviously, looking at the chart, both in the DAX here, yeah, and obviously the FTSE, we have seen a definite bar in the camp from basically 8 o'clock, straight line. Yeah. And so in theory, I basically sold FTSE on the POC, stopped out, same breath almost. And now you think, in theory, for the FTSE point of view, there's nothing really to stop it for another 10 ticks. And I think one of the reasons the person on Sky was saying is that the takeout on the vaccine, I think James May was saying to me this morning, the UK has probably got the best vaccination numbers in Europe, which is probably positive. But, you know, as I said, that could be, in theory, the range for the FTSE for the next 4 hours. So it's good, John. You're on a scalping thing. I like that. It's the same thing on the scalping. So a lot of people, we try and get people to do multiples rather than one, because in theory, you can move your stop up and therefore you can, John, in theory, if you had 2 lots on, you would still be long, I suppose.
I would, yes.
Yeah, so that's the argument we're trying to say.
Hindsight's a great thing, isn't it?
Hindsight's a great thing, and look at the charts, and that's why we do the Zooms in real time at 8 o'clock, because you can't bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to take it on the chin when you're. Well, what was weird is that I sold the DAX this morning.
It dropped 50 points, didn't it?
Yeah.
From 7 o'clock onwards, it dropped 50 points.
Yeah, it dropped 50 points. The price action, I just sold the price action. So I believed in my market profile then on my DAX. So therefore, I thought I'd try it on the FTSE, but you know, 10 tick stops. I'm just almost flat on the day. All right. So anything else this week? We'll come in, but basically, I think Thursday, Friday are going to be the busy days, especially Thursday. We'll do a Zoom Thursday. Those of you who don't understand ECB, go back to what Christian Lagarde has said at her previous ECB, and she'll probably say it again. And remember, Biden's going to come out and probably make a speech Tuesday. Janet Yellen, those of you who don't know who Janet Yellen is, she's going to make a speech Tuesday because she's going to be the new Treasury Secretary. So she may mention about the 1.9 trillion tax.
Neil, do you think if there's lots of trouble in the US on his inauguration, that'll affect the market again, like the Capitol Hill storming?
I think it will affect the market, but remember when the Capitol when he's anointed, as such, I think it's 3-4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I think most Americans, being patriotic, will be watching it. And if you watch the Capitol rows last week or 2 weeks ago,
yeah,
the market didn't move at all.
No.
Yeah. However, I think in the end it will do, and I think people start to realise now that Biden and most of the things he wants to cancel of Trump, he wants to bring in tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think that will affect the market, especially the Nasdaq. He's no fan of the Nasdaq. He's always said that. But I think yet again we wait and see. And as I said, one of the worst things we found for some of our traders last week, they were anticipating what the market was going to do.
Yeah, that don't work.
And we're all guilty of that sometimes. But I mean, those of us who traded Friday, it was quite hard to anticipate because the markets were, I said, you know, look at the charts, anyone who didn't do anything, and put it on a 15-minute chart and see what the Dow Jones did between 2:30 and I gave up about 6 o'clock. I had a good day anyway, but it was fairly chaotic. And the same thing that if you're new to trading, and I think this is where the big warning comes out, is that you know why we put you on Euro stocks, because it's slightly quieter, yeah. But also you saw the severity of certain markets, like the DAX this morning, everything else. But if, you know, let's go to Loopy Loo Juice and have a quick look at cryptocurrencies. I noticed in the last hour as such, not that I trade it, let's put it on the 15 minutes. between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, the crypto's rallied, what was it, 1,200 points. I don't advocate anyone to trade it. And I think some of the news that's coming is really bad. So the same thing, the size of your account decrees what contract you can trade. The same thing for a lot of people last week who were trading gold, who were asking why the gold was so volatile last week. I said, don't trade it, yeah, unless it's an emergency full stop. And we've seen some of the big moves in gold. So the same thing for this week is to keep your powder dry, yeah. You don't have to trade. Obviously, you saw there was definitely a trade on the opening, on the FTSE, more clear in the DAX. Good that John got on it. I got on the wrong way. But as we said, don't over-expect too much today in the market. FTSE is now unchanged on the day. And what do we say, 40, 50 ticks? And in theory, on the Q, we might have seen, what we've seen so far on the FTSE, 67.10. We've had almost a 30 tick range, yeah? We might not see much more than that all day. All right, gents, ladies, hope you have a good week. And remember, today could be very, very quiet, yeah? I think this afternoon may not exist. All right, I'll speak to you all later.
Thank you.
Neil, have you got time a bit later on for a quick Zoom?
Yes, of course, yeah. Just
Yeah.
Chuck did on the discussion group, because I think it's safe to say I won't be doing a lot today. If I had you've been here before, I've got to fix the pool table. It's slightly wonky. So then, all right. Apart from that, I'll be doing my research and everything else for the ECB. When it's quiet like this, you've got half an hour to spend. Do your research. Those of you who haven't done your calendar, you should have done it by now. All right. Speak to you later, everyone.
Thank you.